Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be a champion guide for the free daily login reward epic Lordly Legionary, so let's get into it. Alrighty, let's go ahead and dive into the index and into the banner lords, and then we have got the epic right here on the left, Magic Affinity Attack, Lordly Legionary. Now, first of all, the aesthetics are really cool. I love the sword. That's one of the cooler sword effects in the game. Could have definitely been a weapon effect for a legendary or something. Other than that, he's pretty simple aesthetics, and we've got a base speed of 96. Now, okay, so Lord the Legionary, as always, I'm going to have one of my infographics here that you can pull up down in the vid description and see the masteries that I'm currently using on the champion showed in this video. As always, remember, don't blindly copy masteries. Take a look and build the champion for yourself. Just use that as a template. And then I got the grades, the 10 books required, and all of that type of stuff on there. That'll be down in the vid description if you want to pull that up. So for the kit, we've got an A1 that attacks one enemy 2 times, places an extra hit if target is under a 50% heal reduction, and a 2 extra hits if target is under a 100% heal reduction. Now, this will pair really well with a champion like Coldheart, who is a void rare that is very commonly used in the Fire Knight dungeon, which is where Lord the Legionary is going to be very important in helping you progress. And then for the A2, alright, we've got attack one enemy with a 75% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Decreases the target's turn meter by 20% if decreased speed debuff is placed. So we can kind of snowball, get 2 effects there. We can get that to a 3-turn cooldown and get that chance up to 100% if we're willing to spend these 6 books. That is a lot for an ability, but if you're willing to spend it, that's a pretty good ability for the Fire Knight. Decreased speed is very important, and decreased turn meter is very important. We can proc those when the shield is down and get those to make the run a lot easier. Now we've got the A3, place a 30% reflect damage buff and a 15% continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. We can get that to a 4-turn cooldown. Now, reflect damage, some newer players don't know this, but it's actually very good in the Fire Knight, because if this is up, when he hits you, it counts as a hit on the shield. Now, it's not going to count as a counterattack. It's not gonna, like, he has this attack one enemy 2 times. Reflect damage is not gonna hit the shield twice. It's only gonna hit once. No matter if the A1 is a 4-hitter, a 5-hitter, a 1-hitter, doesn't matter. The reflect damage proc is gonna count as 1 tick on the Fire Knight's shield. So if you've got reflect damage up on your whole team, at the later stages, the Fire Knight's default shield is gonna take 10 hits to knock it down. If you've got reflect damage on all 5 of your people, he's going to hit you, and the shield will just instantly be 5 hits instead of 10. So it's a lot easier to take it down. You can take it down with champions that have single or 2 hitters, and you can knock it down pretty quickly and then start slamming him with debuffs, because in the Fire Knight, he's immune to debuffs and all of that when he has the shield up. So you've got to deal with the shield first. Lord the Legionary can be a really good kind of free-to-play option in terms of introducing you to those later stages of progression in the Fire Knight. Turn meter and decreased speed, which is very important. Reflect damage can be very useful in taking down the shield, and continuous heal can be very useful in helping you live. So I believe his kit is obviously designed to introduce players to a possible chance of progressing in the Fire Knight if you're not lucky enough to summon a counterattack champion or have some sort of godly setup. Lord the Legionary has a really good kit in terms of pairing with a Coldheart, who's a commonly used void rare that can help you progress into those stages of the Fire Knight. And I believe that's honestly probably his main purpose in the game. I don't see him being super good anywhere else. Obviously, I mean, he'll be usable. If you invest in him and max him out, I mean, he'll be all right, but he's definitely going to be most useful in the Fire Knight, and maybe while you've got him invested in, you could go ahead and throw him in Faction Wars and do okay. His Outflank ability has decent multipliers. It hits decent, but other than that, definitely most usable in the Fire Knight. But yeah, let's go ahead and back out and pull up my Lordly Legionary. Let's go into the champions here under epics, and here he is. Now, I've got him in reflex gear. I just happen to have a really good set of it laying around from the last Golem tournament. I don't use reflex gear a whole ton, so I had a really good set laying around. threw it on him to get some good testing in. And I mean, reflex is okay. It's not going to be godly on him, but typically you want it on champions like a bad Alcazar, because they only have one skill that's on cooldown, nothing at the A1, and you can see all of his other stuff. There's no cooldown. So champions that have one skill are typically best to put in the reflex set. They can cycle through their ability really fast and get it up as often as possible. It's still helpful on Lord of the Legionary. It's not like a terrible gearing choice. But don't feel obligated to get him in reflex gear or something. That's probably not the most optimal setup. There's all sorts of different gearing options you could throw him in. He wouldn't be terrible and relentless. You can build him a little bit more tanky. That's where his utility lies. And you want him for the heals and the turn meter reduction, the decreased speed, and the reflect damage for the Fire Knight. So you don't have to build him as like a glass cannon super damage dealer. So don't feel bad building him kind of tanky with high accuracy. You can totally go that route. But just in case you're curious, I'll pop up the total stats if you want to be able to compare your Lord of the Legionary to mine. Mine is viable in Fire Knight 20, which I will kind of discuss the stages you're going to want to farm with him, and I will show you that my all-rare Lord of the Legionary team can beat Fire Knight 20. But there is those stats, and I will show you the gear just in case you are curious. If you don't have good accuracy in your Great Hall, you may want an accuracy banner instead of some toughness or damage here, so keep that in mind. The amulet, like I said, you don't have to go crit damage. I did that because this thing has 44 accuracy. That's why I went that route, and I didn't have an accuracy banner. So don't feel bad using a different kind of amulet. The ring, we're looking for a stat stick. He kind of has a low base defense of 947, so getting flat defense on your artifacts is not a bad idea. That is one of the reasons I did go with the 338 defense banner. So getting your ring, amulet, banner having flat defense is can be an optimal choice because of his base defense being kind of low. But we're looking for a stat stick, and this one did the trick. Boots, and I'll kind of show you the gear here just in case you're curious. Again, crit rate not essential on the gloves. You can build in the more tanky route. If he's dying, give him some HP or defense or something. And we're just looking for our best blend of stats and accuracy and speed. And that was kind of how I built mine there. So as we dive into the Masteries, I built mine with War Master because I wanted those War Master procs against the Fire Knight to help me take him down. You could probably go the defense route. I don't think it's going to be super optimal, though. The defense tree just isn't going to be that great on him. So I went with the offense and support. The support tree is definitely a must. You're going to want the support tree. You're definitely going to want lasting gifts for the reflect damage, especially if you're wanting to use him in the Fire Knight. You're going to want the accuracy and all that type of stuff. Hexer is okay. Probably not as mandatory as lasting gifts, but definitely a good choice. And you can feel free to use this setup for the Fire Knight, and it should work just fine for you. I'll leave it paused here for a couple seconds in case you want to pause and look. But that will also be down in the description in that infographic that I have linked down there. I also like to talk about the booking process. Okay, so if we're booking this guy, we definitely want to get this cooldown. Now, obviously, we can't target books. It can be very tough. I got really screwed trying to book him. I was getting a bunch here, and then I finally got this. You know how it goes. That's how it always is. I wanted to spend one book on this guy, but I ended up having to spend, what, like 6, 7, 8. I ended up spending 9. I might as well just do the 10th at this point and max him out. I ended up spending 9 and saved myself one epic book. But yeah, you definitely want to get this cooldown. That'll help you a lot in terms of Fire Knight consistency. And getting the outflank is not a bad idea either, but it is a lot of books. 6 epic books for one ability for a champion that really only has one, dedicated use and then one sub use, which I call the Spirit Keep, but his main use is going to be the Fire Knight. That's a little bit tough to justify in terms of spending to max out those 2 abilities, but this one is definitely worth it if you're going to be using him in the Fire Knight, and especially in like faction wars for the heals and stuff. So now let's go ahead and talk about where he should be used in terms of the Fire Knight. So as we scroll down to these stages and take a look here, Obviously, the disappointing thing about him is stage 20 is going to be tough. It is doable, and I'm going to prove that in this video. It's doable, but keep in mind, I have good gear. I'm in gold 4. I've got a good, great haul. So replicating my exact results is going to be tough. But this guy can definitely get you to like stage 18, stage 16, 14, 15 can definitely be viable up into these stages. It's going to be really tough for you to do stage 20 with him, but it is possible. I recommend using him to get to like stage 19 because you can build this exact team here. It's pretty free to play friendly. Obviously, you know, Apothecary, Bellower, Cold Heart are not guarantees, and you're gonna have to pull some shards to get them, but they are at least rares. There's no epics, no legendaries, and stage 19 is kind of where I would recommend using him to kind of get you to getting him to do stage 20 without like really good epics and legendaries kind of supporting him or some counterattack or something is going to be very tough. But the typical setup of this team is revolving around Bellower helping me get through the waves with all of the stuns and debuffs that he places with really good speed. Apothecary maxed out at like 250 speed and buffing turn meters and slamming us with consistent heals that are targeted where they need to be, and the speed buff with also a defense aura that kind of helps me keep my squishies alive. Cold Heart is double S tier for the Fire Knight. She's the best rare in the game for the Fire Knight. I actually use her in my main team that runs the Fire Knight in like a minute 05. She's that good. In my like all legendary team, Cold Heart still finds a spot because of her 4-hit A1 and A1 that places heal reduction, and then a Heartseeker ability that hits ridiculously hard, is easy to get it to crit because you only need 70%, and it also resets the turn meter. I mean, she is just a tailor-made rare for the Fire Knight. So Cold Heart, absolutely amazing. You're going to want her in your Fire Knight team if you have her, and she also pairs very well with counterattack because of the 4-hit A1. Alright, so here you can see we're kind of slamming through stage 19, no problems. And there we have it. Now, one thing that's rough is AI is very, very bad about the shield. And we get the A1. There we go. We broke it. Okay, so now we're hoping for a reflect damage proc. We did not get it, so that was bad RNG there with our Lord the Legionary. But we should have it up for the next one. So there it is. And hopefully we can break it. Now we use the Heartseeker, but here we go. And I'm trying to show you this. Alright, Kale's gonna go, or Apothecary. Okay, so now you can see the hit there, the reflect damage. I had one reflect damage buff on my Cold Heart, so that's why when the Fire Knight attacks, now his shield is 9 instead of 10. Even though Cold Heart's ability, her A1 hits 4 times, the reflect damage buff only counts for 1 no matter what their ability is. So that's why his shield started at 9 instead of being 10, because I had that one that one reflect damage buff up on my team. You're hoping for it to be on the whole team, get some lasting gifts procs, and have it be up for everybody, but unfortunately it was not right there. I'll see if I can't show it again here. It's really tough to get that thing to be consistently up. Yeah, he's gonna start at 9 again. Yeah, because I had the one buff up on my Lord the Legionary. I just cannot get good RNG with that reflect damage. And I'm just slamming Heartseekers into the shield. Like, this is about as bad as it can go in terms of RNG. Hey, there we go. We got a good. We got 5 pops on the reflect damage. That's what you need. And then you need to start placing some of those debuffs and get a good Heartseeker to land, and then you're off and running. There it is. There's the Heartseeker. But yeah, I didn't manual anything. It's full auto, and I do have it at a 100% win rate on the Fire Knight 19. It's just sometimes it's going to take a lot longer than other runs, depending on how the RNG is going for you. And there it is. That is stage 19 of the Fire Knight with no counterattack, all rares, and featuring Lord the Legionary, who is the free-to-play, daily login reward epic. And now I want to show you what I was talking about in terms of using Lord the Legionary and that same exact team to take down Fire Knight 20. It was tough, but take down Fire Knight 20 with no counterattack and only rares with my free-to-play Lord the Legionary. So let's get into that clip. Alright, and then so here is the Force Stage 20, where we come up to the boss fight with this same exact team, but it's going to be very hard as a as a weak affinity against the Stage 20 boss with no counterattack. Alright, and we don't have any reflect damage up, so that hurts. And we have, so this is going to be powerful and ruin our day here if we don't get another turn. We did. We got reflect damage up this time. So now we can actually burst the shield down. And we can't land any debuffs, like the decreased speed there. There, we got one. Got that reflect up. That's nice. There it is. We need Cold Heart to land a heal reduction. There we go. Ooh, this is bad. There's the heal reduction, but I don't think we have enough sustain. Yeah, you could probably do it with a little bit more lifesteal or a couple different champs and some good RNG. I think you could make it work. This team is not ideal. There you see he landed the decreased speed for 3 turns. That was big. We need another heal reduction from the Cold Heart. It's down to 1 turn. There it is. There's the back up to 2 turns. And we got a little bit stronger there on the sustain. Had the reflect up. That was good. We got to keep that heal reduction up. There's the Heart Seeker. Come on, you can do it. You guys can do it. Give me a money Heart Seeker. You can do it, Cold Heart. I believe. There it is. See? Stage 20. So Lord of the Legionnaire is viable for Stage 20. And even though this team is very affinity countered, we were able to make it work here in an all-rare scenario with the free-to-play Lordly Legionnaire. Alrighty, so again, I have good gear, good great haul, all that stuff, but it does show you that it is possible. You can get to that point someday if you play actively, you progress your account, and odds are you'll at least have some champion that's better than one of those rares, like a Bellower, or like better than the Bellower. The Bellower is not super good in the Fire Knight, neither is the Kale. The Kale's affinity countered. Odds are you can do better than that, but it does show you that it is at least possible. So let's go through here and do the grades for Lord of the Legionary. Fire Knight's Castle, that's going to be obviously where he's really good. I wouldn't give him a 5 because of him being counter or weak affinity to the last stage, so I would give him a 4. Faction Wars, I would give him a 3. Campaign, a 3. Minotaur, 3. Arena Offense, 1 or a 2. Clan Boss is a 1. Spirit Keep is, I mean, he does counter the affinity and get an extra hit if you have a heal reduction up on her, which is going to be commonly used. So I would give him a 3 or a 4. I think that's fair. Spider's a 1. And then Ice Golem is a 2 or a 3. Probably a 3. Dragon, his turn meter stuff's not going to work, so probably a 2 or a 3. Arena's a 1. Void Keep's a 3. Magic Keep, he doesn't really ignore shield or anything, but we'll give him a 3 because he... Well, no, he's going to be a 2 in the Magic Keep. And then Force Keep, he's affinity countered. Doesn't bring any sort of defense down or anything, so he would be a 1. And then, I thought they used to have Faction Wars on here. Oh, they do right there. Okay, I already went over it. Okay, cool. All right, so, yeah, that's going to kind of do it for this video. My final take is Lord of the Legionary worth investing in, worth 6-starring, worth booking, all of that type of stuff after kind of looking at all the information? The answer is, if you don't have counterattack and you're really struggling to advance in the Fire Knight, then yes, he's worth at least booking that one ability that I showed you. And I think he's worth a 6-star in terms of helping you get to those later stages in the Fire Knight, but just go into it knowing you're probably only going to use him in Fire Knight progression, and maybe since you invested in him in some ancillary Faction Wars runs or something, but not going to get a whole lot of value outside of that. So really weigh your options and think about how important it is to you to progress in the Fire Knight right now before you get a better champion, maybe like an Allure or some sort of counterattack, a Skull Crusher or something like that, because he will help you progress, but he's really weak in stage 20, and he's pretty viable all the way up until about stage 19. That's my opinion. So it really depends on your account and what you have, if you do or don't have counterattack, and kind of where you lie. So the answer is it's borderline, and it depends on you. But yeah, as always, remember that infographic is down in the video description if you want to pull that up and kind of take a look at everything, the grades, the books, and the masteries that I was currently using on mine that I used in this video. So as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.